Hello, guys, and welcome to today's tropical update. And today, well, I definitely saw some of the damage that happened with Super Typhoon Odette slash Super Typhoon Rai, and some of it is total devastation. Like we've seen some type of tents and stuff, like kind of like mini outdoor like shopping tents that you see normally. We see some of those, and they were completely destroyed. So that really sucks. And I've seen the flooding, I've seen house damages, and it's I mean I've seen it before, but just to see it, it keeps happening time and time again. It really does something to you. So you know, I just hope that people stayed safe during this. But obviously, it's still a major typhoon right now. It's not a super typhoon anymore. It's a major typhoon. And here's the latest particulars on it. This is located 10.2 north, 122.5 east. Maximum sustained winds is 110 knots, so it's come down about 30 knots. 110 knots is about 125 miles an hour. So we're still talking about high end Category 3 status here, which is still dangerous as all hell. Minimal central pressure is 901 millibars. Environmental pressure NA, radius circulation NA, radius of maximum wind NA. So let's take a look at a few of these models here. And as you can see, this is from 12Z. So this was a fair bit ago, because normally 12Z is 8 a.m. So there's that. And now it's currently 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. So as you can see the track here, most of these tracks go through one of these last islands here of the Philippines before making its exit into the South China Sea. As you can see, the gym hooks it up and to the right. That typically means that there's a front nearby that's going to sweep this up and to the right. At least from my experience, when I see a track like this, it's normally a front that takes it up like that. But as you can see from the GFS here, it goes up and to the right, but then comes down and left again. So it does a loop de loop, and I'll show you why. There's could be some impacts in Vietnam when it comes to the system, which I will show here on the models here in just a bit. All right, so here's the GEFS track in minimal MSLP. As I always say, the black line is the average mean of everything that's going on. So we're going to take a look at that. And as we see from this point here, where it says 979 at 24 hours out, it starts to strengthen a little bit more again, down to 970 at the 48-hour mark, 2 days from now. As you can see, these clusters are starting to get very close to the Vietnam area. So there could be concerns with some maybe minor to moderate impacts, depending on how strong and how big the system might be at that current point in time. I do firmly believe that there is going to be some impacts on the Vietnam coast. I do believe that. Probably high surf, probably gusty winds and some rain. So, you guys aren't going to be completely out of this unless it, turns earlier than expected. All right, so here's the GEPS tracks and minimal MSLP. And as you can see, this is a lot weaker than the GEFS, and it turns a lot quicker, which obviously we want. So we can have no impacts on Vietnam whatsoever. As you can see here, it tries to re-intensify here at 988 millibars after going down to 992. So that's not a very huge difference, but it tries to regain strength nonetheless. All right, so we're going to take a look at all 5 major models on the tropical tidbits today. Normally, I only take a look at the GFS and the European, but I want to get every model's opinion on the system as we see what kind of track that it takes going forward. But we're going to take a look at the CMC first, the Canadian model, if you will. And as you can see, this is initialized at 12Z, which is 8 a.m. We have a pressure of 989 millibars, which is pretty off. But I'm taking a look at tracks here more on some of these than I am, you know, the the pressure and how strong it is. So we're gonna go forward, and as you can see, CMC turns it what looks to be 100 miles from the Vietnam coast at hour 66. Now, because of the close proximity to Vietnam and how big the system might be, the CMC is picturing some impacts for coastal areas of Vietnam. So I would not be surprised to see, all of the above that I mentioned a few minutes ago, right? So that's a 986 millibar system. And as you can see, after that period, kind of just wanes as it heads to the north and the east. All right, so here's the navgem. We're going to see what the navgem says. And as you can see, it's initialized at 985 millibars. Like I said, for stuff, for these models that are weaker than it should be, or they're just purely for tracks at this point. So we're going to take a look here. And as you can see, oh man. According to the navgem, we might have a direct landfall on the coast of Vietnam. Keyword being might, because that literally looks like it's 20 to 30 miles offshore at this point. So according to the navgem, you guys are going to see some pretty decent impacts in Vietnam from a Category 1 typhoon. Now, you're probably saying only a Category 1? Well, a Category 1, mind you, can still drive people up the walls and cause worry, and it can still do damage. I mean, I've been in the Category 1 before. I know this. So, you know, if this becomes the case and the models are starting to trend a little more west with time, Vietnam, I would pay attention to this because this is 2.5, 3 days out from now, and those 2.5, 3 days are going to go by pretty quickly. So you got to watch for trends here on if it trends more west or it goes out to sea. Those are the only two options right now. So as you can see, it has Vietnam kind of in the crosshairs here for some decent impacts as we go through time. So we're gonna go out from that, and pretty much at hour 1 hour and 2, it's pretty much gone. Shear and other monsoonal features are gonna tear this apart at some point in the next 5 days. All right, so here is the icon, and it initialized at 983 millibars. So once again, this is a track situation. So here we go. We're gonna go out through time, and as like the icon, like the navgem and CMC, it has a close brush with Vietnam. So it looks like the models are starting to trend more towards more impacts on the Vietnam coast than ever. So that's why I'm here to give you guys the information when you guys need it. And I will continue to be here over the course of the next 5 days, if need be, to give you guys this information. So as we go out through time, Icon keeps it pretty decent going out. Well, not decent, but it keeps it as a tropical cyclone going out to hour and 25. So now here are the last 2 miles. These are the GFS and the European. And we're going to do the European first. we're going to take a look at that. And as you can see, this was initialized at 12Z today, and it's at 981 millibars. So let's see what happens going forward. It stays 981 millibars at 24 hours out. And then it looks like it strengthens pretty quickly again to 958 millibars. Like, holy cow. So that's a solid category 3 right there. And hoping it weakens. And as you can see, European is also dangerously close to Vietnam at the 72-hour mark. So these models are definitely trending towards a possible Vietnam landfall. So, not only are the Philippines are feeling it right now, but you guys in Vietnam very well may feel some decent impacts from this in the next 3 days. So I would start paying attention, get some preparations done, just on the off chance that it does trend towards a actual landfall in Vietnam. So, make sure that you guys' plans are in motion to make sure you guys stay safe and ahead of the storm. Okay, so as you can see, there it is, 1003, and then 5 days out, it goes poof. So, like I said, most of these models have it dying off from deadly wind shear and tons of monsoonal, action that's going on in the Western Pacific right now. All right, so the last model we're taking a look at is the GFS model, and this one has initialized a lot better pressure-wise than all the other models. And honestly, GFS has been the best model with this system so far. So we're initialized here at 960 millibars, and as you can see, it pretty much keeps in the 960s for the next 24 hours, and then down to 960. And as you can see, it starts to strengthen again, back to a major Category 3 typhoon here. And it has a Category 2 bearing down on Vietnam. I don't think it's a direct landfall, but it's pretty damn close. I'd say that's 10 to 20 miles off the coast. So, like I said, Vietnam now is in the crosshairs of possibly getting a pretty decent typhoon. So I will be here, to do my job and try to protect the people that are in harm's way of this system. So, as you can see, this is 120 hours out, and I I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but where have we seen this before? Where have we seen this before? What I could have swore the last two times here in December we've seen this setup right here. Another low pressure system that is east of the Philippines. I'll keep a close eye on that for you guys going forward. But here is typhoon, or now probably tropical depression, Rai or Odette, that's winding down here. And it looks like we got another system here in the North Indian Sea, which I will probably tweet about that in the coming days to come. So, with that being said, Vietnam, pay attention. I'll keep on top of this for you guys. And now we're going to take a look at one last thing, and this is the sea surface temperatures. And like I was showing yesterday, there was some areas of 31 degrees Celsius here, so which those have gone away, and now we're still bathtub warm here with 29s and 30s. So this is still rocket fuel here for any more potential tropical systems that might want to try to form throughout however long the whole tropical season of 2021 has been weird. The North Atlantic shutting down after August or September. Just La Nina, East Pac acting like it was an El Nino, getting like 19 named storms and whatnot. Albeit most of the storms weren't that great, but it still had a decent number of tropical storms. And now we got two monster December typhoons. So this has definitely been a very weird tropical year for me to track for sure. But as you can see, since Typhoon Odette or Rai is not going to be in this area here, we're looking towards this area here. The Typhoon Odette and Rai has 28s, 29s, and 27s to work with, which is still conducive for typhoon development until it gets close to the Vietnam, and then we're getting to 26s. So that's probably when it's going to start weakening some. All right. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching again. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and watching these videos. That's my job, to keep people safe and ahead of the storm, if and when I can. All right, that's it for today. I'll be back again tomorrow with another update video. All right, thank you guys. Have a nice day.